You're trapped. The walls around you feel like they're closing in. Every shadow, every flicker of light could be the last thing you see before, well, you don't want to think about that. In this endless labyrinth, nothing makes sense. The passages twist, loop, and change, as if the walls themselves are watching you, mocking your every move. No map can save you. No plan can protect you. As you might have guessed, you're not alone down here. Many things are hunting you. The walls aren't your prison, they're your execution ground. You can run, but you can't escape. Not without facing them. That's when you see it. Or maybe it sees you first. You don't have much time. Dreadhalls is not a game of courage. It's a game of survival. And the only question that matters now is, how long can you last? This is Dreadhalls, the VR nightmare that doesn't let you wake up. It's the silence that gets to you. The kind of silence that crawls under your skin, gnawing at your nerves. You don't hear the monsters, not yet, but you know they're there, somewhere, waiting. This is the heart of Dreadhalls, an atmosphere so thick and palpable with tension, it's almost suffocating. Every inch of the dungeon feels alive, like it's breathing in time with you. The air is heavy, damp. The walls, cold stone cracked with age, are the only things that separate you from the horrors lurking just out of sight. But they offer no comfort. Oh no. What makes Dreadhalls so effective is the way it uses sound, or the lack of it. The game's sound design is minimalistic but powerful. A distant drip of water, the soft scuffle of something moving out of sight, or the terrifyingly quiet whispers that echo down the hall. There's no music to guide you, no clear warning when danger is near. But the true enemy isn't what you see or hear, it's what you imagine. The darkness, lit only by your fragile lantern, plays tricks on your mind. The shadows, they seem to shift, the walls seem to move, and the dread, just like in the name, builds with every flicker of light. Visually, the game is simple, but effective. The dungeon's procedural generation means you'll never explore the same environment twice. Each hallway, each room feels new and unfamiliar, no matter how many times you play. This randomness keeps you disoriented, unsure of where you are and what might be waiting just around the corner.
I'm scared. I'm actually so scared. I'm actually so scared right now.
And that's the brilliance of Dreadhall's ambience. It's not just the monsters that scare you, it's the dungeon itself. The feeling that every wall, every shadow, every breath you take is a step closer to something unimaginable. It's a game that doesn't need constant jump scares to terrify you. It uses the simplest tools to create an overwhelming sense of dread. In Dreadhalls, it's not just the atmosphere that's out to get you. The labyrinth is crawling with creatures, each more terrifying than the last. But here's the thing, the monsters aren't just entities lurking in the shadows. They are an extension of the dungeon itself, feeding off your fear and flesh. Every monster in Dreadhalls has its own unique way of interacting with the environment. They aren't just mindless killers, they stalk you, wait for the perfect moment, and force you to navigate the environment carefully. One of the most nerve-wracking monsters is the stone statue. It's a simple concept, but it's pure nightmare fuel. How it works is, it's basically a mannequin. You look at it, it doesn't move. You don't look at it, it moves. But you can escape it. If you run away far enough and you close some doors, you can escape it for good. The environment itself becomes a weapon in the hands of these monsters. Tight corridors limit your movement, making it harder to escape. Rooms with multiple exits leave you guessing which path is safe. Every hallway becomes a trap, every shadow a threat. The stone statue, the gargoyle, is just one of many examples.
Oh, game money, yes. Oh, perky dick. Oh, cocky balls. Oh, testicles. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Then there's that black, shadowy, tall man figure. I don't know who he is, and frankly, I don't care, because if you see this thing in the hallways, you're gonna react just like me. Basically, if you walk into him, or even near him, or you look at him for a bit, or even interact with him for more than a millisecond, he will cloud your vision. He will use his shadows and his shadowy powers to overwhelm your lantern. I have no idea. I just can't see for a while, unless I run out of the way. You haven't seen it here, but you saw the guy right now. That's all you need to know. That's all I know for a fact. Let's just continue.
Oh, goody good gumdrops. Oh, maybe not, maybe not. A creature seems not to react to motion. Try to stay still when it looks at you.
Yes, past me. That's exactly how that little red testicle works. That monster is a skin face straight on a little red orb that comes from wells, and if you stare at it, or if you move, it will literally just straight up kill you. I don't know how it kills you. That's the only time I've ever interacted with it, but it's pretty scary, and that's all I know about it. I'm sorry, I am really well versed in all the other parts of this game, the ambience and everything else. The monsters, I don't know too much about them, because every time I see one, frankly, I just run away in fear. I don't know any of the names. I haven't even finished the game. Let's just continue on, okay? Let's just move on.
I can't do anything.
Then we got Mr. Mole. This is a little creature that I thought was a baby when I first saw trailers for this game, like the Resident Evil 8 one. But this thing is scary as hell. Basically, in large corridors, it runs after you, like you just saw, and kills you in one hit, like all the other monsters. This monster is very scary, and it just screwed me over in that moment, and I couldn't do anything about it. So, very comical moment indeed. Let's move on to the next monster. Next up, which I already showed you footage for, it's Mrs. Witch Lady. I don't know what her name is as most of these monsters, but I'm going to call her Mrs. Witch Lady. And this is because if you look at her, at least for a certain undisclosed amount of time, she will charge at you and literally just straight up kill you.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
And last but not least, we got the Warden, as I like to call him, because I don't really know his name, and frankly, I don't care, because what you just saw was the most terrifying moment in my entire playthrough of Dreadhalls. I don't even know how I got all these comedic moments in the game. I did it though. This is one of the most terrifying aspects of the game, where you have to turn your light off so you don't attract this monster, and not in that way. Don't get your mind out of the gutter. Nah, no, not like that. No, I heard you. No, bad. Basically, he can see you, but he can't hear you. Turn your light off, and you're A-okay. The monsters in Dreadhalls don't just exist to scare you. They're designed to push you into impossible situations, just like Mr. Mole back in that footage you saw earlier. Do you extinguish your lantern and risk wandering in the dark, or do you keep it lit and attract the creatures hunting you? It's the split-second decisions combined with the oppressive environment that make every encounter feel like a fight or flight for survival. At first glance, Dreadhalls might seem like it's all about survival, just you, the dungeon, and whatever creatures lurk in the shadows. But hidden deep within the labyrinth is something more, something ancient, something unspeakable, a story that unravels not in grand cutscenes or epic dialogue, but in fragments of dread, whispered secrets, and strange, unsettling artifacts.
Oh. Christ. I swear. It's the Warden. It's the...
And then there's the eyes. The name appears again and again, scratched into the walls, whispered in the darkness, and basically your main objective every single game. Who or what is the Eye? Is it a god, a curse, or is it something older? Something far beyond human comprehension. The game leaves you with more questions than answers, and that's where the true terror lies, in the unknown.
Yeah.
The only exit is through the pillars. They will take you where you wish to go, if you step between them.
The further you descend down the dungeon, the more you realize that the labyrinth itself is part of something bigger, something cosmic. This is not just a prison of stone, but a place where the fabric of reality begins to unravel. Time and space lose their meaning, and you start to wonder, are you trapped here? Or have you always been down here? Is there even a way out? Luckily, there are notes all around the mazes. Yes, I said mazes, to guide you and tell you the truth.
When all these worlds came into existence, there was something left behind, ruined substance, scraps of souls. It was forgotten in the dark emptiness behind the walls of the worlds. The between.
Okay, so we're in the back rooms. Oh, I get it.
The story about Dreadhalls isn't about answers. It's about fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what lies in the dark corners of the dungeon. And fear of the truth that you may never fully understand. It's a story that lingers long after the game ends. Like a nightmare that you can't quite shake.
I don't know what the corpses are.
Other wanderers just like you, judged unworthy, devoured by the shadows.
Want to know the real story of Dreadhalls? Let me tell it to you. From at least what I think it is. Now, full disclosure, I've only played the campaign once. I haven't read all the notes. I haven't asked all the questions to the Medusa, which means I don't have the full story. But from what I did procure, I will tell you what I think the story is all about. With that out of the way, now I can finally tell you the story. Basically, the place you're in is called the In-Between, and this is basically serves this place justice because it's in between the world that we call home, Earth, and the heavens, where corrupt people found empty thrones from previous gods and took power for themselves. Now, the In-Between, think of it as like the back rooms, which explains the random generation of each maze, each labyrinth that you venture in to get these human eyes, which you just saw right now. And this is where you are stuck in for the entirety of the game.
Of devotion.
Tokens of devotion, wisdom is not free. Those who seek answers must prove themselves worthy.
Side note, one of the notes says, or one of the Medusas say, that the reason why we, the player, are here is because we were bounded by the shadows. We chose to go here. This was our destiny. This was our own free will. Also, another side note, if anyone can play this game and find out the actual whole story, piece it together, more complete than I have, because I haven't seen anyone do this, I would love to watch that. Anyways, back to scheduled recording. The monsters you see throughout your playthrough are basically the remains of all the other people who have been here before you or during your stay. These are lumps of flesh molded together to punish you as you go here, as you found this place for greed, or you're cast away by those greedy, selfish, throne of God wielders. Once you do progress, once you do find the eyes, once you do find all the items you need to progress through the game, and you go further throughout the labyrinth, you find out the place starts collapsing a little bit. You start in this typical Dreadhalls fashion with brick walls and cement floors, and the ceiling is also cement. But as you go through, you find more and more ancient versions and more deteriorated versions of the labyrinths. The second place is more or less in Roman-style fashion, now with strewn across faces, now with more corpses, with more architecture and cement put into this new labyrinth. The next area is more or less just a cave. This cave, however, is full of dust, which you're probably getting some lung diseases along the way, and it's full of the same monsters. As you progress, you get closer to the pillars, closer to the ancient powers that can actually release you from this prison. These pillars are very mysterious until you encounter them at the end of the game. Most of the notes you find change during gameplay. These are randomly generated, but all from a bank from designated labyrinth types. Near the end, you find more people calling themselves, or you, liars when they leave notes. They've given up. They've curled into a ball and turned the lantern off and let the monsters kill them because they're little babies. And then finally, at the end, there is one note that you have to read. Well, you don't have to, but it's more or less designed for you to read, and it's not randomly generated. It's the same every time. I'm going to show this on screen right now.
Wait, I found a book. No! There's more! There's more! Wait, shut up. The pillars, the gate between the worlds, but not for you. No, you have been tainted, just like me, like all of us. Your place is here too, bound by the shadows. You can't escape. You belong here. You know what? That was really rude. Do you agree? Yeah, that's really rude.
And this is what happens at the end, where these are the pillars, by the way. This is what happens when you escape.
Oh no! How am I gonna do the boss battle? You should get this game. 100%. It's really fun. Also, my character is like, I don't know, he probably weighs like 500 pounds or something. I don't know, he can't. Alright. Am I gonna get screwed over right now? I swear, if someone comes at me from Dreadhalls, I will literally... I'll be sad. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll be sad. Alright, let's see. Human eye. What does this get me? It's a pillar. I don't know why eyes are the... I don't know why eyes make everything so good. I don't know why eyes are just... Was that you? Was that you? Did you do something? Okay, just give me up. Oh! Portal! Oh, no. I get it. Yeah, there you go. I beat the woman. I'm outside! I won! Oh no, it took me back to the main menu and I didn't see anything! No! I won!
Now that we're past everything about Dreadhalls, we have to talk about how the fact that this game is in virtual reality, how that makes this the best game that this could ever be. Horror in virtual reality isn't just an evolution of the genre, it's a revolution. In a game like Dreadhalls, VR doesn't simply place you in a terrifying environment, it traps you there. The headset presses against your face, your field of vision becomes the dungeon walls, and for the next terrifying hour, you're not just playing the game, you are the game. What makes VR horror like Dreadhalls so potent is the loss of separation. In traditional games, you can look away, turn your head, and maybe even step back. But in VR, there's nowhere to hide. The walls feel close, too close, as if they're closing in with every breath you take. The shadows that move in your peripheral vision aren't on a screen. They're in your world, tugging at your primal instincts. They pull you in, forcing you to confront them head on. VR takes away your safety net. The sound of a creaking door isn't coming from your speakers, it's coming from behind you. A figure standing in the shadows isn't a distant object on a screen, it's literally right there, towering over you. When the monsters chase you, they aren't confined to the edges of your monitor or TV or console. They're chasing you, right behind you, and every instinct screams at you to run. And Dreadhalls, VR makes you live that fear. You can't just move a joystick and take a peek. You physically have to turn your head, face the unknown, and pray that what's waiting for you in the darkness is something that you can survive. The fear in VR is not distant or controlled. It's personal. It feels real. VR makes terror immediate. It rewires your brain, and even though you know it's a game, your body betrays you. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your breath catches in your throat. Every instinct screams at you to remove the headset, but the game pulls you deeper. You can't just stop. Every second is a confrontation with your own fear. And that's the magic of Dreadhalls in VR. It doesn't need to rely on endless jump scares or grotesque monsters to get under your skin, even though it does. The fear is woven into the very fabric of experience. In VR, you feel the cold sweat of anticipation, the rising dread of not knowing what's real and what's imagined. The game feeds on your vulnerability, making you question every shadow, every flicker of light, every distant whisper. Because in Dreadhalls, you don't just play in the labyrinth, you are the maze's prey. Fear is a universal language. It's ancient, primal, woven into the very fabric of our existence. And Dreadhalls, it doesn't just speak that language, it masters it. It's not a game about survival, it's a game about surrender. Surrendering to the unknown, to the dark corridors that twist and wind, leading you ever deeply into the belly of something vast and incomprehensible. In the end, Dreadhalls is not just a game, it's a journey through a labyrinth of your own fear. It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying stories aren't told through grand spectacles or complex plots. They're told in whispers, in shadows, in the flicker of a dying lantern as the darkness closes in. Because true terror is knowing that in this world, as in all great stories, some questions are never meant to be answered, some doors are never meant to be opened, and sometimes the only way out is to go deeper in.